Hello, welcome to the 13th episode of a podcast. I'm very privileged to see you on here, and I'd like to introduce you and basically start explaining how you got into airsoft.
Yeah. So my name is Joe. Last name Smith. It's my real name. So it's all super fancy. And I'm no. Thanks again for having me here on your podcast. It's that was nice of you to offer, man. I talked to Eli and Mason. They're like, we're on the podcast, and I was like, what? And so I was pretty pumped that I got that you asked me to join on. So I'm pretty elated to be here. Um, and look, lo and behold, lucky number 13. Like that's one of the best ones. Yeah. So my name's Joe, and I got into airsoft at sea. I'm 37 now. I've been playing airsoft since I was 14, 15. But most of that time back in the day, that was those old clear soft, as we call them. Like the clear double A, triple A battery powered airsoft guns and everything too, like that. Is what started. I played mainly paintball a lot back in the day. And then, my brothers, everybody started to venture out a little bit more, and we started to try to get into more nicer guns. But it was kind of here and there, let loose. I would pick them up every now and then and just play with some friends and stuff. Most of the time, it was like woods ball and things like that too. But what really got me back into airsoft was really probably where it was hardcore was back in 2017. Is when I started to jump into it hardcore with my buddy TJ. He and I were like really talking about it, and he knew a friend through his wife, whose name is Clem, who did a lot of milsims, including Milsim West and everything too. And ever since I was a kid, at 14, 15, I remember reading this paintball magazine about these larger scale milsim events that they would do actually with paintball. I can't remember, it was a place, I felt like it was near like Oklahoma, excuse me, Oklahoma or something, where they would have like World War II themed like milsim, and they had like pictures of people like in wooden, like what would you call it? Like a wooden boat. Like they basically made the boat from the beaches of Normandy, right? I always forget what those World War II boats are called, right? Where they did the beach landings. They made them out of like pallet wood and everything too, and they show pictures of it, of the doors dropping down, and guys running out and just getting lit up with paint. And I'm like, that's got to be the coolest thing ever. Like I did some competitive paintball and hated it, and so and so with like that milsim, I've always wanted to do from the paintball sides, and just enjoying of the more realistic gun side of airsoft. I wanted to do it so bad. So my best friend TJ, he was like, "Hey man, let's get this going. Let's do it." So we talked to Clem, and Clem's like, "Yeah, it's awesome. This is how you doing." And we jumped into it, and lo and behold, man, like that fun, just wanted to try milsim out has grown into a giant passion and a current employment at a airsoft company, as well as owning my own little airsoft events company. So that's basically just hanging out with friends back in the day, early 2000s. So some of you listeners may not have been alive at that time. It's kind of crazy to think about, dude. The kids this year that are getting ready to graduate this year, next year, were born the year that I graduated. My knees hurt. My knees hurt.
I can relate to that. I mean, I'm approaching 40 myself,
Yeah,
so
see?
yeah. So you can imagine my my history on this. Well, it's pretty cool hearing how you started because with me, it kind of similar. I started in 2003, but
Okay.
over near Wichita, Kansas. So
There you go.
back then, it was like it's nowhere near what it is today. But back then, it was just like those cheap little plastic airsoft guns, and matter of fact, it didn't have full metal that I recall, and hot poppers wasn't really a thing.
Yeah,
So
no, the BBs
it's
just had to go, and
you just had
hopefully,
to, yeah.
dude, if yours went like 20 feet, that was like, you're like, oh, this is a primo sniper I got right here.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because back then I don't remember them measuring on feet per second. I remember measuring feet distance. That's what I
Yep,
remember.
yep.
So like you were indicating, it's 20 feet, 50 feet out. But I mean, oh my, it's just a lot has changed since then. And matter of fact, back then it was just kids in a backyard. I even played airsoft inside a townhouse back then. But keep in mind those things weren't very powerful.
No, they
So,
weren't.
a friend of mine he owned the entire complex, and he said, "Hey, you guys want to play airsoft?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Where at?" Well, inside one of my units. I'm like, okay. So he filled up the unit with smoke, those little Halloween units.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was so smoked you couldn't see like 2 or 3 feet up in front of you. But we were inside trying to find each other to shoot at each other.
Oh man.
So, that was a memorable moment. And I had fun with that. And of course, I was only in it for a short time. If I recall, I think I got out of it like in 2006, 2007.
Hmm.
And then since then, I've been out since the beginning of 2024 is when I got back into it.
Okay.
And when I got back into it, keep in mind, near 40 years old, showing up with no friends, no one, just going to Fox Airsoft in a line and seeing what happens, right?
Yeah.
And to be fair, I mean, the first game session, keep in mind, I didn't have any friends or anyone to hang out with. So being by yourself and just figuring things out on your own, it wasn't really that fun. I was kind of on the fence to come back. And my wife convinced me that, hey, why don't you just go back for a second time and see, give it another shot. So I did, and I went back, and that's when I met Spaz, and he was on the line. So I believe he was in front of me, and that's when we started exchanging, what we like to do, and especially me getting into this. This is my
Yeah.
second day out. And then he tag teamed me and he said, "Yeah, you're brand new at that. Come with me. Play with me, and we'll tag team and we'll play airsoft." And that's what we did. And I even bragged to Spaz every now and then that if it wasn't for what he did, I probably wouldn't have came back. So it was because of that interaction. It's because of that. How should I say that fun with playing with a group, right?
Hmm.
That's what kept me coming back. That's what initially got me hooked with the hobby. So, but ever since then, I've been playing over at Fox. I played over at Dynamic. I got a little bit of an arsenal now, but it's slowly growing, and I'm sure as time goes on, it'll get even better. And then, of course, I started up a YouTube channel, and so now I deal with gameplay, random stuff on shorts, even podcast episodes as well. And all that started because some guy said, "Hey, why don't you just tag the team or tag up with us and have some fun?" And it just went from there. So it's kind of cool how it went from nothing to something, and here we are
Yeah.
today.
Well, when I took over Fox, right, I joined Fox in late 2021, and then, managed it in early 2022. One of the things I wanted to focus mainly at that field was that welcoming thing. I think a lot of what the older players or whatever too that are our age, been playing hardcore longer than I, been doing for a while. I mean, they're very important, right? But they would always kind of scoff at like Fox being the kiddie field and everything too, because compared to like Go Airheads and at that time too, I don't think Dynamic was a thing. I think only Dynamic, that Red and Jason and John and them run, Dynamic. That the airsoft group dynamic that they run over there, I don't think they were a thing a couple years ago. I think they're fairly new. So like you only had like really hardcore fields was Fox and Go Airheads. And so they would always refer kind of to Fox as like the kiddie one. But in all honesty, man, like I don't I wear that badge with honor, man, because like the biggest thing for me, man, is like you like yeah, you might not get the more mature audience sometimes, but managing a field side, I'll tell you who complains more than kids or cries more than kids. It's adults.
Bills.
So the ones who act more like children at my field are the adults, right? That's the funniest thing, right? I very rarely have kids complaining about stuff or whatever about other players. Most of the time, man, it's kind of like, do you ever see that South Park episode where they did airsoft in it? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I did. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That when Cartman lays prone with that sniper rifle and shoots Kyle in the head, right? And he says like, "It's the best day of my life," right? He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I love airsoft. This is the greatest day of my life." Dude, so many kids and players who come there for the first time just have the best time of their life, and it's awesome. Um, and so like the friendly environment is really what I try to focus on, man. Because you can have mature, but I always feel like when it comes to that more mature environment, you start to really develop hardcore cliques. And with those hardcore cliques, it kind of keeps everything standoffish, and it makes it really difficult for new people to kind of make that, right? Because you'll get a lot of players where they don't want to talk to anybody that's not part of their group, right? They'll sit in their little huddle, right? You know, a little team at the table, right? And you'll get another one here and here, but a lot of times, man, like, with those older groups, they just keep to themselves, and I get it, but also it's kind of like, the whole point of the sport and how it continues to grow is more and more new players, right? That's how we get the advancements in the dedication to the sport and the dedication to how replicas are built, in the dedication of higher quality built replicas for a more competitive pricing and all that jazz. Really, really comes down to more new players coming in, right? When it's so niche and it's such a small growing or plateaued sport, it'll never advance. No companies will invest into developing higher quality products for that plateaued sport, right? They'll just continue to make what they got until nobody wants it, and then they close the shop, right? They're like, cool, made the money, I'll close this up and move on. And so that's kind of been the big focus for me in the last handful of years at Fox, is trying to grow that, especially with the challenges we have, right, with ever shifting landscaping on that, right? From having 3 fields to that really large one, down to 2, back to 3, and then back down to 2. Kind of adds that on. But yeah, no, I'm very pleased. Spaz is one of my favorite people ever. Him and his girlfriend Ashley, they're wonderful people. I love it when they come in and they just Spaz just goes, man. I mean, I'm a little thick boy when I'm out there running, I enjoy too much of the foods and a lot of it, brother. So like, I pack on the weight, and so that boy, I don't know where, like I feel like Spaz, I could pick him up and throw him. Like I'm shocked he moves so fast. I'm so scared that if he runs faster, he'll take off and fly away, because that guy has like no weight. That guy weighs nothing, Just a cool breeze is gonna throw him into the next field. But Spaz is great. Every time when I play against him, he and I always seem to find each other. He beats me most of the time, because even though I played Airsoft for a long time, I am garbage at Airsoft. Holy cow, I'm like the worst. I die if you were to do head on head. Like, I might get you a couple times, and there'll be good ones. Like, I'll feel pretty cool about those two. But man, oh man, I'll tell you, I die more. So that's why I focus a lot on my gear. That way, it look real cool when I'm dead. It's kind of that idea behind it.
No,
What
nothing
about
wrong with that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. And matter of fact, when I got back into it in
you?
2024, it was kind of in a similar state. I just wasn't, it's understandable, right? You haven't been into it in 15 plus years, and then now you're being shot at by people that's half your age, and you have to keep up. And so I had to learn pretty quickly, so especially with Spaz, I played with him. I mean, as you well know, he gets and goes. And matter of fact,
Oh
it's pretty
God,
cool to see him when he's sliding on the turf while he's aiming and firing. That's
dude,
that's pretty cool. I have a few video shots of that. So
he's
it's
incredible. If I could bottle him up or can him into an energy drink, I'd love that. Like, I would drink Spaz. Get your new Spaz energy drink today, $6.99, because of tariffs. That
well,
he trucks.
be careful of that, because by the time this airs, maybe somebody be like, "Hey, that's a good idea," and then they try to market it.
They could, they
So
could. I want a sponsorship then. Give me a sponsor deal then. I'm down for that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Spaz with a little icon of Spaz.
Two
So,
Z's, two Z's, and a picture of him in his black outfit, and then his ever consistently problemed Scorpion Evo. That one
yeah.
right there. Will it shoot today? Who knows? We'll find out, I guess.
Shoot it. Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah, yeah. But oh, go ahead. Sorry.
well, I was gonna say, but yeah, like the field's been enjoyable, and it's nice to work on that. Um, it's ever changing. It's a constant problem. That's always kind of a fun solution to try to solve. And so, you know, as some people may or may not know, right, with Fox kind of shrinking down its retail space and moving over to a retail shop directly at the field, meaning I'll be at the field more often, which is exactly where I want to be. Um, I really look forward to this summer. I got a bunch of little things I'd like to do. I've tried some small snippets too with the older group because going back, I talked about like the younger kids and everything too, but like the older group, that's kind of where what's funny though is where I fit and where I play though is a lot in that older group, and not necessarily because I enjoy the older ages, but more because the game modes, man. Like the game modes I love are like One Life or medic rule game modes where if you get shot you go down and stuff like that too. So the challenge for me this summer is to continue to build that field up and that field's attendance, right? Because our overall goal is to purchase a second field, right? That'll be ideal is to get a cool second field. So in order to do that, you got to make this field even more successful, to be able to get more fruit out of that, so we can then take the seeds from that fruit and plant it into another location. And so the challenge for me this summer is continuing to cultivate that community, right? Like with Spaz and you, and meeting that and welcoming new players and encouraging others to allow people, new players, to assimilate with them in their groups and their cliques. And then more importantly, though, is the old timers like me who played forever and want some new stuff, right? Is to have some more opportunities for like that more realistic, more mature gameplay, which is awesome, So got some things up my sleeve. Got to finish planning it out. First things first, though, is focusing on getting that shop moved over to early June, and then I hit the ground running, which would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Well, once the shop is moved, do you guys plan to expand the current? I think you're in a what do you call those shipping containers? I guess the shipping container office at Fox. Do you guys plan to expand that out a little bit to accommodate for the additional inventory that's coming in?
We really wish we could. Unfortunately, Parker is going to make that difficult. So our plan is to currently just really keep it within the parameters of our current size of our shops there. We'll utilize some of the spacing, everything too, to put things out and on display, but the retail shop will be a lot smaller. But we will still have guns out there and everything too for people to buy. And more importantly, though, like if I don't have it, I can always order it for customers to continue to service them. That'll be it. Like I think the biggest thing for retail shop is to supply the daily necessities you need. So BB's, batteries, chargers, things like that, and then providing some of the higher, like more common and popular guns that we sold will be the ones that I keep in stock. And then my plan is also to keep a small amount of repairs and upgraded parts that are the most common. So like specific type of motor, some gears and everything too that I feel are common, as well as some other systems just to keep your guns up and running. Because the economy right now, man, I mean, it's hit everybody, right? The economy makes everything more difficult, more expensive. I think some of the biggest things that'll help people out for sure is going to be maintaining their current replicas or getting more out of it for them here in this year and then possibly next, until really that economy starts to shift up. There's always economy always goes up and down, but in the long grand scheme of things, it's always up. It's always up. It's down now, but 5-10 years from now, guys, it's going to be up and up again. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
just how it
just like the
goes.
stock market. It always
Yeah,
goes up, and there's going to be dips, but it always goes up. Very similar pattern. Absolutely.
exactly.
So I mean, all right, well, cool. I mean, happy to hear that you're going to be focusing on the field,
Hmm.
and depending on how things go, could potentially be open up a second field.
Hmm.
Just out of curiosity, are you able to publicly say just a generic location where that second field might reside?
Well, so with the way Colorado does things, right? The land is expensive now, right? That's the issue. The battle is with Colorado. Prime locations are when it comes to land, and then you have to fight the government, right? That city's government or whatever it's at, right? So you got to be like, because a lot of things is like hypothetically, let's just say I had all the money in the world right now to go buy land in Highlands Ranch, but you can't just like buy land and then be like, cool. Now I'm gonna just put an airsoft field here, right? That's not how it goes. You need permits, you need zoning, you need all that stuff. And the city, this is how I don't think people realize how sticky finger the governments are into everything you do. But you won't know until you start your own business, especially a small business. Anytime you want to do something, you need to get a okay from the government that you can have that business there. That's how it works. Like especially here in Parker, like in order to do anything, you got to get an a okay and a pat on the head from Daddy Gov to little sucker. Here's your sucker. Here you can go outside and play, Steve. go outside and play and have a good time, right? So right now, there really isn't a spot. We've eyed some areas down south in the Springs. We eyed areas a little bit northeast in Aurora and things like that too. It really comes down to waiting it out. We've done some surveying on some smaller stuff in area too, and so we've got some areas, but it's hard to tell until you get the cash and the effort to do it. So which probably won't go full swing until either late this year or early next year. So far, timetables can always change, right? But if it was up to me today and everything was groovy and we're able to buy property, I would probably look somewhere south, somewhere in the Springs. It's just growing so fast. And so that's a good opportunity for years down the road. And so, with that in mind, the government's still a little bit more lenient depending on the county. So, you'll be able to probably purchase some property, especially out a little east off of I-25. There's still a lot more like, open fields and things like that to where you can then set up that business and get the AOK and set that business up and be Gucci, um, and then have all the property around you, build up houses and things like that too, and then you grow with the community around you. So
Not very
I
cool.
mean, Go Where It Heads has north, and then Fox One has it, in the middle, then at
You
Parker, and then
know,
further south in the Springs. I think would be an ideal spot location.
not excellent. A good deal. And that would make sense. I mean, especially with the distances you're describing, because I mean, in my particular case, I currently am at the moment stationed at Colorado Springs. So if I go up to Fox or if I go up to Airheads, I have to drive.
Yeah,
And but if there's a nearer field, then that meets my needs, then I'll definitely be more, I'll say, attractive to go to that instead
yeah.
because of the distance.
Yeah, and that's the importance too of having more than one field, right? Because the issue with airsoft in general and paintball too is that you can constantly go to the same field over and over and over again, and then it just gets stagnant. It's like with any video game, right? Like if you think of it in video game terms, multiplayer games, right? I mean, I don't play COD anymore. I get schooled by 8-year-old kids who, cuss me out and make me feel bad when I just worked like an 8-10 hour day. And I come home and then I had some kid with a high pitched voice just rooting in my day. I've come to decompress. But the biggest thing that keeps video games going is when they add a new map, right? And then that player base comes back for a bit because it's something exciting new. And so the hard thing about airsoft in general is um, like just that change of it because you know you put hardcover up somewhere, right? And that costs you money to build that. And now if you were to change it, right, that costs money to do that as well. So the more fields that are open, it'll prolong like the lifespan of the average airsoft player, which I think research says it's about 2 to 3 years is the lifespan of an airsofter. So the goal is to get that person from 2 to 3 years to 5 to 10 to a lifetime is the general ideal way to maintain a good business. But it's just hard when, some locations, especially like places that might have just like a small field, and that's just because some guy has 90 acres out in, the South, and, they don't need AOK from Daddy Gov to let them do what they want. So they do what they want on their field. And so you just got kind of those that pop up here and there. But it's hard to do something, and it takes someone super dedicated. So let's talk about the greatest field of all time, right? Which, as far as like success wise, from the outside looking in, right? We don't really know anybody's books, but from the outside looking in, I would argue the best field in the states of the United States is definitely Ballahack Airsoft, right? I mean, it's legendary, right? All they focus is on is good events, right? They're not, they don't have. I mean, I'm sure they do now have a large retail shop, right? But their online presence, like Airsoft GI or Evike, right, isn't there, right? The focus for Ballahack, who was led and ran by Swamp Sniper, right? It's just all about experience, right? He puts on those large events and people travel. I'm going to travel there this December to check out one of his Rev games. Always want to do that because it's a fun role playing game. But he adds so much fresh stuff to it. The biggest thing is he has that property that he owns, right? He's able to build out a really cool thing. And so even though he has that field, right? It's large enough to change and make every gameplay dynamic, but even then, it still can get stale, and you have to continuously evolve. And I think they announced like a whole new thing that they're doing to the field too. So right, a continuation of growth and building on it. So that's the challenge with that field, right? Is okay. Because you can have a year where you built an airsoft field and your numbers are great, you made cash, good, cool. Your player base peaked at a specific height, and you're starting to average that out. But now the quest has to be a continuation of growth. You got to find that plateau that's a relatively high thresh plateau, and in doing so is constant change renovations to a field, and that can be extremely costly. So when a state is dedicated, like California, Texas, where you can have multiple different sides of fields, it prolongs the life of a player. And then there's a reason to have like groups, like the division, like everybody else who has one, like Spaz has ones. Gosh, what do you know Spaz's group? His name? You think I would know? My bad, Spaz. My bad. You guys tell me all the time, but just I'm 37. I got dad knowledge of how a creeper is built in Minecraft for my boy that pushes out important things like a squared plus b squared plus c squared equals c squared. Like that just leaves, something like that. But Eric? Do you know freaking Spaz's group?
It's called the Legion of
Legion,
Rain.
Legion of
Yeah.
Rain, Legion. That's right. LOR. So groups like those guys, right? And that's how you build that, to have that community, and then it's nice to have different fields to go to experience that and play. It's longevity. So, because definitely having a field closer to you in the springs is nice, right? Because quick days, you're like, dude, I got 4 hours to play airsoft. Bet the field's 20 minutes for me is ideal, right? But the problem will be is like 4 or 5 months down the road, you can be like, ugh, I don't really want to play the same field. I want to go somewhere new. And so that's where you go back up to Fox North, or you would go all the way up to Erie, Colorado for Go Airheads and Josh over there. So,
Yeah, and especially with what you mentioned earlier regarding, if after you build the map or the field or whatnot, that
yep.
after you play so many times, it kind of becomes, what's the word, stagnant, right? Is that the
Stagnant,
proper?
stale.
Yeah,
Yep.
stale, yeah. But the one thing I have noticed is, especially when I was playing at Fox, is that every now and then you guys do some changes on the maps, and even with Prison, which is the primary map I play
Yeah.
primarily. You guys, especially within the last year, have made some changes to that map to where you have more things or more cover. You put in the ditches. You always, and I even noticed one time where you guys kind of moved, like you kept the cover, but you moved it. So, that kind of changes things a little bit because
Yeah.
then you think you're going to a certain position, right? But then you realize, well, the cover's not there anymore. So you have to recalculate how you're gonna reposition yourself. So, it's just things like that, which to me that was kind of interesting. And even though it's small little things here and there, but it's just it kept the interest, in spark, or it kept the spark of interest.
Yeah.
And so, just keeping that up is was pretty cool.
Yeah. And there's a lot more stuff we want to plan on adding on, right? So we have the construction, right? That's taking up a little bit more. But once that construction's completed, we're supposed to get some of that spacing back around it. And so, I mean, the market field, which is the CQB field, it's only 50% done. I have a map that I built up. I think I spent 18, 20 hours designing that market field, redesigning, doing stuff, redoing it and stuff. And so that's why I'm excited for the summer, is to really make that CQB map come to fruition. And then with the additional spacing, adding some more buildings to prison side. And more importantly, like a design to make, trying to find a way to combine. The biggest challenge I'd like to accomplish this summer would be to combining both fields properly. Like we do it, we try to do it, but everyone gets bottlenecked between that transition since we have the walls that separate them. It'd be ideal and great to have some buildings up further south, so closer to, like, your entrance is here, right, further south. So you got marketplace here, all the prison. So it's where that transition curls. Um, that would be where I would like to add some more buildings on the backside of prison there. Um, and then what's cool about the buildings, and we design them this way, is that in the prison they're all square slats that are screwed together and spiked. So theoretically, each section is a square on its own, and we can kind of like rip things out, grab and lift and move them. They're heavy, but we can redesign stuff too here and kind of move things around, which would be ideal in the future. So, but the biggest thing right now is getting market field up to exactly where I want it to be, and then getting prison field a little bit more fine tuned and everything like that, and then start to implement things to maybe even moving the back buildings closer together in the center more would be a lot of fun to have there too, to bring those buildings more into play would be kind of nice. The buildings tend to kind of be like almost more of a backspace that the other teams sit in, and just mainly rental kids. You know, they go up into the tower and they just put their rental gun at a 45-degree angle, flip it to full auto, and hold the trigger. They don't even know what hop up is. They may not even be on. So they're shooting like maybe they're mortaring. They're
Yeah,
mortaring.
I have a few of those on camera. So yeah, it's kind of yeah. It's funny you
Nothing.
mentioned that.
Oh, dude, the rental kids are great. I love them because they're out there for the first time, and I remember when I was their age, out at paintball. Paintball for the first time, and just being extremely excited, extremely anxious to get shot for the first time. You know, and then when that first shot hits, you take that moment. You're just like, you rub it for a second. You're like, all right, and then you get back to your spawn. You're like, all right, let's do this, right? And then you finally get your first kill. Probably takes you 2 rounds and 32 deaths. But when you finally get that first kill, like all the other welts and pain that you got, it don't even matter. Your kill death ratio is in the gutter, but it don't care because you got that war story. But I'm not gonna lie, when the rental kids are in the tower and they just full auto stuff, it really really, when they're full autoing at me and I can't move from cover, it really irritates me. I'm not gonna lie. You got these. I can't move, and this 10-year-old kid's just full autoing me. I'm like, dang, this kid won't let me go. So recently built up at LMG HPA M249, and my favorite thing right now is to do the opposite. Now, return the favor, right? And I don't aim to shoot the kids. My favorite thing to do is when I see them in covers, I shoot the cover, and then they go behind the cover, and then I just hold the trigger, and hold the trigger and hold the trigger. And then I stop after like 5-10 seconds and wait for that kid to slowly peek up. And then I hit the full auto, not even near his head, just at the wall. And then go back behind cover, and you just keep doing it. It's so fun. It's just so funny to do that. You just hit the cover of people, and they just hide, and you just hold that trigger. It's great. It's real good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And matter of fact, I have a funny story myself on a kind of an interesting
Yeah.
circumstance. So with the rentals, the kids,
Yeah.
um, they were in the tower, and of course I thought it was only one.
Yeah.
So I cornered it, or I thought it was one person, so I cornered them in, right? And then I fired in there in an angle. And of course, it's not a direct hit. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to spook them and provide suppressive fire so the guy behind me can change his position at a different angle and rush in, right?
Yeah.
So when I was doing that, they just one guy started yelling that hey, we're hit, and of course I'm thinking, no, you're not. You're getting hit by the ricochet because
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing intentionally. So I was like, okay, all right, no problem. It's like, can we come out? Can we come out? And of course, I'm right on the entrance, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can come out. It's fine. So one comes out, two, three, four, five, and I was like,
Oh,
I didn't know there was that many in you or that many of you guys in there. And they all came out and they said, well, good job, good job. Like, I didn't do anything. I just fired at a ricochet. So,
that's called
so I,
volume of fire there, Eric. You won by pure volume of fire, brother. Hell yeah,
yeah,
brother.
and I have this on video. I don't know if I'm ever gonna post it, but
Oh,
it's
you should
like
do it just as a
it's
short. Do it as a short. It'd be hilarious.
yeah. I just couldn't believe how many came out, and it wasn't even a direct hit. So it's like anyway, it was cool. I mean, I was nice to him and I told him, good job, and give
Yeah,
him encouragement. But
yeah,
man, it's just things like that that sometimes you don't expect to happen that happens.
yeah. one of my favorite things to do, man, is just to play with those kids, dude, and like try to get them to run up, especially when they're sitting behind. I'm like, come on, man, you guys want like you want to go? I'll cover you. Go. It's fun to like grab those kids and try to go. Some of them, half of them don't want to do it, which is fine. They're like, no, like I'm good here, and I'm like, all right, man. As long as you're having fun, yeah. I'm like, all right, good, man. Then if you just have fun, you don't want to kill, but you don't want to get shot, and you just want to shoot BBs all day, like, heck yeah, kid, have a good time. But dude, some of those kids, man, they've got cojones, dude. Like one time, at our field, right? Most fields, I don't think our Airheads has. Yeah, as far as I know, they don't have mercy rules, right? No, there's no bang bang rules because it's for the weak. Bang bang rules, but I do it with rental kits, man. I try to be courteous to the younger players, right? And I'll never forget. I'm in prison. I'm down the halls. No one's there. And there's a kid. I'm tall. I'm like 6'3". And so I can look over the file cabinet we have in the hall, and I see this like red hoodie, and so like I peer over the file cabinet, and I'm just like I point my gun at him, and I'm like I'm not shooting this kid point blank, like it's just not gonna happen. So I was just like, all right, I'm like, all right, kid, bang bang, like, and he like looks at me, looks down his gun, looks back up at me, and I could see it, his eyes through the visor. It's like that meme where like the math thing starts whizzing past his head. So he's just like trying to math his capability. You do this, and he starts, and no joke, he's like starts to move it up, and I'm like, don't do it, man. I told the kid, I was like, I really don't want to shoot you point blank, but I'll do it. And the kid's like, okay. Like the fact that kid looking down the barrel of my gun was like doing the math, his kid math in his head, right? And he's like, yeah, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can
Yeah.
if I move slow.
Could I could I move up my rifle, aim, and fire when you already have a direct line?
I think he was
You
trying to
could
test
talk him out
too.
right there.
Yeah, he's probably like, this guy looks old. He probably can't even see this anyways, and trying to move real slow, like I'm a T-Rex or something. He's like, if you don't move or move real slow, it's like you don't even see you. That kid, dude, like, no, even at my age, right? Like, I'm just like all my protective gear. They can point at my plate carrier, and I'd be like, no, that's yeah, you got me. One time, yeah, like one time I was playing against Eli. We were doing a the field lead. We were doing a employee day at Fox Airsoft, and so Eli just got his what's that Russian shotgun? The semi-automatic and fully automatic shotgun that they have. I think it's just semi-automatic. Um, the Saiga, right? He just got his Saiga, and he HPA tapped that guy. So we're playing, and he surprised me around a corner and shot me. And it's a gas blowback shotgun, so it's pretty loud and everything. So it scared the crap out of me because I didn't expect him to be there. But he shot at me, but nothing came out, and it misfit. And I said hit. He goes, I didn't even hit you. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to test this. Like I don't need three BBs point blank into my left arm. Like nope, I'm gonna call that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm too scared. Too scared. Too scared. I've taken plenty of stuff, taking tagging rounds to the chest. I'm for some reason that day that 3-round BBs to my my short sleeved arm. I was like, not today.
No, I hear you there. I even have a kind of a awkward story myself where, and again, it wasn't my fault. I have some people may already know this, but I have an injury on my foot. So I have a slight of a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And so what most people don't realize is that when I run, sometimes I can't keep my feet in sync. So it's very brief, but if you're slightly out of sync on your movement, just a slight,
Yeah.
right? If you try to stop, then that imbalance is going to make you basically either fall or you're going to trip on something or something of that effect will take effect. So I had something like that happen where I was around a corner
Mm.
in prison, and sometimes I like to rush. So I was positioning myself to rush, and then I went for it, and then right when I was at that corner on the last second, I could hear somebody literally right on the other side of that corner. So I was like, thinking to myself, I need to stop. So I try to stop, and when I try to stop, the sync of my feet weren't together. So my injured foot was slightly lagged behind, and because of that, I had a slight imbalance, and I tripped down. And when I tripped down, I was sliding forward, and then the guy in the corner was there. So when I was sliding, I saw him, he saw me, and of course I was already down on the ground, right?
Yeah.
So I was sliding across. I was pointing my rifle up. He was pointing his rifle down because he's in the upper position. And of course, we were so close to each other. When I got my rifle up, I just shot the nearest object I can hit, and I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking at the time. And guess what? What I ended up hitting? I ended up hitting his. I don't know how to say this publicly, but his
Oh, you hit his
sensitive area.
manhood,
Yeah,
his family
point blank,
jewels,
point blank.
his
And then
mendoza.
right when I did that, he was
Yeah.
shooting me, and if I remember correctly, I think it was like right on the neck.
Yeah.
And so we both shot at each other, and he immediately, of course, where I was hitting, he immediately reacted, and I reacted too.
Yeah.
And then we both started laughing. And of course, he had all his buddies behind him,
Yeah.
and they're like saying, "Is he hit?" So, so they're kind of
Yeah.
waiting to see if they're gonna fire or not, and then
Yeah.
and we both laughing and we both help each other up, and then everyone was asking if we were all right and everything, and
Yeah.
so I also have that on video, but I haven't posted that. So it's
Yeah.
just like it's just things like that that happens, and it's just you try to take the good out of it, right?
Yeah.
So as long as everyone had fun, and that's what matters. I just felt bad because like even after the match, I went back over to him and said, "Dude, are you all right? I mean, I didn't really mean to do that." He's like, "No, dude,
Yeah.
it's totally fine. It's just hilarious, of, like how you were trying to hit me and you did hit me. It's just not what I was expecting." And
Different
it's like,
spot, different location.
yeah, exactly. So, even when, of course, this is not intentional. I've done this a few times after hundreds of engagements, but
Yeah.
when you're in a lower position, especially underneath the stairs, sometimes I do that also by accident where I'm trying to aim up, but because of the angle you're at, it's sometimes you'll end up hitting more sensitive areas. So I try to avoid that, but it happens. So,
It'll happen. Yeah. I mean, dude. I mean, I've been shot there too, and it don't feel good. But I mean, like, dude, the knuckles, brother, knuckles or fingernails, man, that
yeah.
gets me. That'll get me in the day. I'm like, oh, like, and it's always like the day I forget my gloves that I get shot in the hand. Because like I'll get shot in the hand wearing my gloves, but it won't hurt as bad. But for some reason, like it's the day that I forgot my gloves, I'll get constantly shot in my hands like all the time. And those ones get me, man. Those ones get me every time and stuff. But you do a lot of milsims, Eric, at all?
Actually, I did my very first one. I think it was called Operation Freedom. I think that's what it was. It's over at Dynamic. I think you were there.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. With
So
the
yeah,
company, my new company I started with, me and Red and everything. You did that little milsim like more adult stuff then kind of a thing, right? That.
yeah. I did it there. That was my first one, and of course, I actually posted some videos on it too. I actually put, I think that exact icon, I think, on
Yeah.
my thumbnail, if I'm not too mistaken.
Hmm.
So if you haven't seen it, I've already posted two videos on it, and the first video I posted on it, again, keep in mind it's my first milsim, so I learned right off the bat, you know, like when someone is holding a little orange thing, that means you can heal them.
Yeah.
So it took me a second to recognize, oh, that's why he's doing that. Okay. He's wanting me to come over here.
He just sees
So
you run past. He just sees you
no,
run past him. He goes, "Oh yeah, thanks, guy. Yeah, okay."
no, it's hilarious. Matter of fact, if it's okay with you, I could share my video or
Yeah,
share my screen and I
yeah,
could
of
show you the
course.
video
Yeah,
exactly what I'm
please show
talking
it.
about
That'll be great.
because
That's
it was just
hilarious.
hilarious. And keep in mind, it's my first milsim, so I'm figuring this stuff out. But just seeing stuff like that and you're learning, and it's
Yeah,
it's really cool to see. But give me a second here while I
that's hilarious.
what. All right, let me get this ready for you.
That poor guy's like, "What the heck?"
He had a good laugh about it, but he's part of our group, part of me and Spaz's group. So his call sign, I believe, is called Fireball, if I'm not too mistaken.
Okay.
So he's a pretty good lad. He's a little older than I am, but his how should I say his energy is more than me. So it's quite cool to see that, because you would figure the older you get, the slower you become, but he's not. He certainly is keeping his weight, I should say, or keeping his
Yeah.
maybe that's the wrong word. Maybe keeping his I don't know. I'll just shut up because I don't want to accidentally offend somebody. But Wait,
It's
wait.
that time of year, right? You got it's that year
Yeah.
now. You got to be concerned about it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. All right, well, my bad. Let me get this going here. Let's see. It's this one right here. Let's share a screen. Yeah, we want to do that. Yeah, bonus for video sharing.
Oh, you interviewed Slim? I got to go through all your videos. I haven't gone through that yet. I was
Yes,
missing
I
that.
have. He's also another good guy. I actually met him for
I
the
like
first
Slim.
time directly. How long ago? Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. He just posted a video, said his worst day in Airsoft. I was there when
Yeah.
he posted that, and we were chatting, and I feel so bad for him because
Yeah.
I remember him saying, of course, forgive me if he's watching this because my memory is bad sometimes, but he was saying something about like his leg was hurting or something in that effect. Um,
Yeah, I think in his video, because I watched his video, right? Because the gun he was, it's one of those goofy like M4 with the AK rocker guns. I think is what he was trying to do, and he was saying, I watched his video and saying like that sucker wasn't working well, and that's such a bummer. I mean, even though it wasn't that expensive, like it shouldn't matter, right? Like that, like it don't matter, right? You're like, hey, I've had, um, freaking like, I paid money for it. It don't matter if it's $80 or $150. You advertise that this thing is supposed to shoot.
yeah,
Like I'm,
then you expected to shoot.
yeah, like I'm not even asking for. Slim wasn't even asking for it. He just wants it to shoot. Just feed the dang BB through the dang gun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh heck yeah, you got the video pulled up? Let's do this. Pull it up, Jamie.
All right. So give me a second here. Just let me know if you can hear it. If you can hear it, then I'll restart it.
Yeah, I can hear that. Heck yeah, heck yeah, heck
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
Do you have?
All
How
right.
was
So
your overall experience though? Did you enjoy it? I mean, you can be honest with me, man. Like I feel like I've got pretty good skin and stuff too. So did you at least have fun?
oh, absolutely, yeah. And my first one, it seemed kind of, how should I say, laid back into it, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. So
yeah.
it wasn't hardcore
No,
milsim of what I've been hearing where others can become, but in this particular
yeah.
case, I thought it was a really good introduction to it. So I had a good time, and I saw you a few times. I remember seeing you hugging Spaz for a photo, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I
But
shot him in the lip and stuck a BB in there.
yeah, so
I
so
mean,
that
it's
that was pretty
funny.
hilarious. Yeah.
I feel bad, you know, my bad, Spaz. I'm so sorry for it, but it's also like it's pretty funny. Yeah, his mask was like kind of. He was like tilted his head down. His mask was kind of weird, and I shot him in the face. Listen. All right, listen. Don't. All right, it was not a kicking Mustang kind of ordeal, okay, guys. It was, it was the only thing he presented to me, okay, and I hit him once in the face. All right, it's just one shot. Just was a really good one. Oh man, right into his lip. I felt so bad. I felt real bad that I put him in there. I was
No,
like,
he
oh,
had a good laugh about it. I mean, we were talking about it, so I mean, yeah, he definitely didn't hurt his feelings, but he had
yeah,
fun. It seemed like
good,
you had fun too, and
yeah.
that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, I just want. I mean, pain is part of airsoft, but injuries are not my favorite. Right? Pain is one thing, but an injury is one I don't really want to experience. So
All right, well, I'm going to start it here, and
yeah, go for it.
the title is Operation Freedom: Dynamic Paintball and Airsoft. My first player heal. So,
Oh yeah,
pretty memorable moment.
I'm excited for it. There you go. Is that? Yeah, that's your group right there running, or that's a song
Yeah,
there, I think, right?
that's Hassan.
And Jagger
Yeah.
right behind you.
Yep, and Spaz on the right.
Spaz was on the right. Okay. It's always so hard when everyone's wearing multicam. They all look the same to me after that. Oh, you're in the Alamo here, huh? Trying
Yeah.
to push out. Oh gosh. There we go. There's Jason right there being a monster. Jason's huge. He's like 6'5".
And there's Fireball just waving his little thing right there. And of
Fireball's
course,
like,
I'm looking at him and I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
was he shouting for a medic at least?
He was, but it just didn't click with me because you can hear him.
I hear it
That's him
now.
saying
I
medic.
hear it
Yeah.
now.
So, so I'm pointing at him like, oh, okay, that's what you meant.
He's like, I just got this. I just got this thing here.
Thank you.
So you said that's Fireball?
Yeah, that's Fireball. Yeah.
Who is Fireball? Is that Fred?
Actually, I think it is.
Hell yeah! Fred and I had a good fight here at this event. It was funny. I like your layout though. I really like that layout that you designed for your video.
Oh, the layout regarding like the HUD.
Yeah, it feels very Halo-y, Spartan-y, and I'm a goober for that. Like that's my video game. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. It took some time to perfect. I mean, it wasn't something I did overnight.
No,
So if you go through like the very beginning of my videos and then to now, you'll
yeah,
see that I gradually got the video editing more perfected. So in this
yeah,
particular case, in this video, you see the top indicators and then the
yeah,
bottom. But originally there was nothing, and then I think it was like a few videos before or a few videos back, I got the top completed with my own icon right here. So that's me, that's the icon of me, right? From within
yeah. Hell
this
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
right here, and then it fades in and fades out on a transition. So that took a little bit of time. And of course, to be fair, and just so everyone knows, I didn't design this from scratch. These are kind of like templates. So I just took them and I altered them to my layout, if that makes sense.
Yeah, as one
So
should, as most as most successful social media people do anyway. So
yeah. So, but it still took time because it's not something you can do overnight because you have to feel it, you have to see what feels right, and then and just gradually include it. So in this particular case, mission objective, secure enemy compound. Here's my live status, which as soon as I'm dead, this will change automatically. And then there's a little holographics in the bottom,
nice.
and they're not stagnant. They're not just, they're actually doing something.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. And I have future plans for this.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say too much, but
Ooh. Yes, I
it's
understand.
yeah, and I'm kind of pushing the boundary on some of this stuff. So I'm
Good.
kind of thinking if that's something I should do or not. I don't know. It's just kind of playing around. But yeah, I'll finish the video here and then
Yeah,
we can. I would like to show you the RadioCom video I did too. That was pretty hilarious.
that'd be
So
dope.
I'll yeah.
And which gun are you using right here?
The Ambulon.
Nice. Oh, is the block? Is that the Mark 18 or Block 2 one?
I believe that is the two. I'll have to get the specs and I'll
Like the longer
oh,
handguard one?
it's the longer one. Yep. Yep.
Okay, yeah, it should be Block 2 then. Oh no! You got freaking shot by who?
Actually, it was a bomb. Here, let me replay it here.
Oh! Oh, dude, you added sound effects for that too?
Yeah, I did.
That's dope. Yeah,
You're now dead. Oh.
yeah, yeah. What was fun about the kill streaks, what was interesting about them that we had, because kill streaks can be a good or can be a bad thing, depending on how you utilize them. And we don't use them all the time, right? But like kill streaks can add kind of a fun dynamic gameplay in there when they're used properly and sparingly. That was cool.
So that was that one I just showed you. This is
Yeah.
another one where I was pinned down,
Yeah, show me that
and
one. I'd
then
love to see it. I'd love to see that event because we can talk about. I'd love to jump into like my company and everything too, and when we put this event on and kind of like what our plan is and everything as well. So much running. My knee hurts.
N5, we got enemies at the schools. Hey.
In this particular video, we're pinned down from all
We're
sides.
getting shot from houses. Copy.
You guys, so I was the CEO of the Green Squad, and you guys kicked my butt that first game. I was so upset. I was like, never again. So I was like being super aggressive, especially on this one.
I got a pin currently. Yep. I moved up. Right. Hey! Hey!
I think Spaz got hit, huh?
Yeah, he did.
Oh! I can't tell what that is. I can't tell if that's Fred or not. Who just got knocked out.
Yep, that's him.
No, Fred, no!
Yeah. No, I'm not down. I am. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Spaz, I'm dead.
And again, that's when I realized I needed to heal somebody.
And Spaz's like, yeah, I'm dead. And you're like, that math, right?
Yeah, it took me a second to process. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was your handguard siphon. Yeah, you know yours is an Avalon, just the BR-16. So I thought yours was that Daniel Defense one.
I'm gonna go rest him.
Those Avalons are really good out of the box. I really like them. I love that bronze color, the offset that they do. It's so cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the reason why I got it. It's because of that color set, primarily.
I'm gonna go.
Are you running a real EO tech or running a mock eBay tech?
It's a replica.
Yeah, dude, I would.
A really good replica. It's
Yeah.
one of the best ones I've used. So it's very bright during the day, and of course it's airsoft, so you don't really need to have one of those fancy ones that can take a recoil, if that makes sense, and they hold position.
No, 100%.
So yeah.
Where'd you get yours from? 'Cause I got one. We call them eBay techs because we get them off of eBay, but like mine isn't that bright. I was kind of disappointed by it.
Yeah, mine is super bright. It's almost comparable to the real one, almost. But the only problem about it is that I have to get it from China, and you got to be very
can't right now.
careful. Yeah, you got to be very careful with that, because just so other people know, when you purchase out of country, don't use your actual credit card, because there's a high probability that it will get hacked, especially out of country. So don't use it. I use it's like a fake credit card, a fake virtual credit card. So I only use it once, and then it locks down automatically, and then therefore the funds went over there, but then they can't hack your card and try to charge for other stuff, right? So just a little food for thought so everyone's aware.
Two. One. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's how I like to die.
Yeah, and it's funny because of how I reacted.
Yeah, that's what a dead guy looks like.
Oh, don't worry. You look cute when you're dead, Fred.
Yeah. And I don't know if you could see it, but probably not. It's a little bit fuzzy right now. If I can get back to it. It's right about here. I'll try to stop it when it comes back up again.
Oh, he's got the orange band out too.
Yeah, that's what a dead guy looks like.
So if you look right about there, okay, right there. You can't see. I'll have to fix that so it's brighter. But it says press F to pay respect.
To pay respect.
So you have this HUD effect, right? Like you're in a video game, and then you have this little warning thing that says press F to pay respect. So I think on my next video, I'm going to make it a little brighter so it's easier to see. But
F's in
but
chat,
yeah.
boys. F's in chat.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Index.
End of exercise. that was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And as you can see, I have several gameplays here. I even have a co-op one with Spaz. Um, just basic flanking maneuvers. It's not that,
Yeah.
no, nothing special. But then a radio gameplay, and then I think Eli's on this one, a Half-Life
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah,
So
he
I have
is. Yeah. Yeah. He showed me that video forever ago when it first came out. He's like, yo, check out my Half-Life outfit. I was like, that's dope. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and he didn't know I was recording either, so it's just kind of how it just kind of naturally happened, and
Yeah.
it turned out pretty good. Yeah, it certainly did. And this one's the radio one, so I'll play this one here real
Yeah,
quick.
please. Oh, good shots there. He wasn't even ready. He wasn't ready for that at all. The bell notification.
Providing suppressive fire in prison.
Roger that.
Oh, right in the butt. I saw him grab for that. Butt shots are my favorite. I like shooting people in the butt.
Clear.
It causes the least damage, and the reaction's always funny when you know, they're like, oh. Man, so you rushed in there quick, dude. That's a good spot to get in when you can get it.
Oh, absolutely.
What's status on courtyard?
I like that radio effect.
Courtyard is clear. Alright. I'll take good. Next case is. I'll say about the one on the 6th day.
Where do you find the
Push up.
Where do you find the audio cues for that? I assume that's from video games or anything?
Actually, no. It's kind of hard to explain. Some of them are real, others are not. And the reason why I had to mix it is because there's an actual person that was talking that sounded like it was like a youngster kid, and I didn't want a parent to find that online and then I get, angry emails. So I actually changed it and masked it and then added an overlay which sounds like a radio effect.
I
So
like that.
yeah, so it turned out pretty well. And keep in mind all the words you're hearing are actual words. Some of them are been how should I say? It's been overlaid and altered, so you can't actually tell who it came from, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's like at the core it's real, but it's overlaid and a little bit of a effect on top of it. So it sounds where it sounds is where it sounds.
I just hit a guy's boom boom. I love boom boom.
I love your boom boom, baby. Knock it off.
Knock it off. That was real. That was an actual conversation, just so you know.
So how are you recording the radio transmissions?
I
Or is
had
this
other
a
people.
secret?
It's a secret. I'm not going to tell how I'm doing it.
Oh, well, no, yeah. If it's unique to you, this is dope. Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, it's a special. How should I say? It's kind of it's not a direct. I'll just leave it at that. It's not a direct line.
That's
so
cool.
yeah. So I'll just leave it at that.
Now you just need to figure out how to live stream your stuff.
While I'm doing this, yeah, I know, right? That would be kind of interesting. Yep, for sure.
I think the additional sound effects you add to it.
Oh, with the helicopters?
Yeah.
As well? Yeah.
Someone's got a minigun somewhere. Man, you're just commanding this area.
Good job, team. Keep it up.
got another zoom zoom.
Really?
That's funny. So that's jagged, right?
In front of me, yeah.
Yeah.
That's jagged.
Two targets entering prison. One white
What camera are you using to film?
GoPro 12.
The GoPro 12s.
Yeah.
Do you use an internal battery? Or do you use an? Oh, oh! That kid got scared so fast. Oh, you're shoulder swapping too. Oh, good stuff there. Good stuff there.
Oh, sorry, you were asking a question. I think you're if I was using an internal or external battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used both. So at this specific moment of time, I was using external. But on other videos, I was not. So it's a combination of two. The reason why is because I was experimenting with the overheating problem, as you well know, GoPros have.
Yeah. Yeah, especially my GoPro, I tend to not have an internal battery because I feel like because I only have a 7, but I really don't feel like, I mean, I'm thinking about upgrading, but I don't know. I get 1080p, 60 frames per second. I have so many videos that I basically have to never put on YouTube at all. Yeah, I basically film it for my friends to like cut and send to them, like just via through like text and stuff. So when I go to like places like Copperhead or like really hot desert areas or whatever, with prime temperatures, I tend to run without an external battery because I feel, or internal, just external, because I feel like I get overheating with my battery inside, but I never get overheating when I just run the external battery.
Yeah, and believe I've definitely been testing around with that. And matter of fact, I even have a 3D printed modified case, which is kind of like has like a shade extend on the top of the GoPro, so it extends out, but it allows it to breathe, so you can have airflow through it. But it's also protected through BBs as well. So I'll have to show it when I have a moment. But
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
so I use that, and I also use a combination internal and external battery. But
Sure.
with Fox, I only turn on, like if I'm using internal battery with that sunshade attachment, I only turn on the battery internally if I'm actually in game. But once I get killed, I immediately turn off the camera instantly.
Yeah.
And then by the time you walk back to your spawn, the camera is maybe cool down maybe a few degrees, but just that little differential right there will extend your time by an additional 7 or 8 minutes.
Oh, 100%.
So as long as you keep at it doing that way, then you can actually survive without overheating throughout the entire game session. But if you're dealing with a milsim, I don't think internal battery is going to fly because it's you're dealing with longer sessions, and especially if you're in the desert and whatnot, I could easily see how that could be a problem.
Yeah. Jagger trying to figure out what he's going to do.
If I recall, he's repositioning in a different angle so he can cover the other side. Yeah.
He is. There he goes. There he goes. He's communicating. Hand signals.
Enemy in hallway.
Good call out. Good call out.
Heads up, hallway has been breached.
Oh!
You know, I had to reposition.
Yeah? Dude. So how'd you know? Did you just happen to look behind you, or did you have a feeling someone was coming up behind you?
No, someone transmitted it over the comms.
Oh.
So that's how I knew.
Oh, see? Comms. Communication, guys. It's important. Even for pickup games, man. Oh, no.
there goes Jagged.
Speed and aggression. All right, so you got a teammate here in the courtyard in the corner. Now it's time to pie and try to see if you can get to that door frame, right?
I was thinking about it, but I hesitated, and you'll see why here in a second,
Okay.
because I heard something.
Oh. Oh. Teammates running.
I heard that, so it sounded like it was coming from my left. So I was like thinking, what, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
But then, as soon as I walk out, I have a surprise.
Oh no, the trade. The trade.
I believe that was Eli.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was Eli. Him and his tropical multicam. He loves that one.
But also one more before I stop sharing my screen here, because you're talking about how you like the butts being shot. I actually have that.
Yeah,
It's right here.
The reactions are funny. The butt shots are hilarious because hands or whatever, but the butt.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's funny. The reaction is great. I can't help it every time. Yeah, see that little hip thrust there? Ah! I giggle every time when I get somebody like that. It's it's great every time. I can't help it. It's hilarious. Oh, dude. Anytime you can get some funny reactions without, causing harm, that's why I like the butt shots, man. It's nice and padded.
Nice and
Every
padded.
time they get, and every reaction gets, every time it hits, gets a good reaction out of it, which is enjoyable, which is very, very enjoyable. But no, man, I mean, I love your overlay. The radio thing, man, that's dope. Like, include that more often, man. Especially when you got goobers like Spaz, running around vocally, because Spaz and Ashley are the funniest thing ever. Oh my gosh. Spaz knows how to get her going. Like, he knows what button to push on Ashley. And then he'll hit it. And then she reacts. And then he just keeps hitting that button again. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I love watching them just like get all snippy in the middle of an airsoft game. It's awesome.
Yeah, they are a good group to hang with. I mean, I'm very blessed that I had the honor to basically meet them and interact with them, and especially in gameplay. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, they're a good bunch.
I would agree. I would agree. And for me, like, that's been always the ideal behind airsoft is the friendship and everything too. And for me, like, one of the reasons why I really got into airsoft and keep playing, I mentioned earlier, like how I started was doing the milsims with my buddy TJ and Clem and everything. I sent you a picture of like the original group I started to do the milsim with, like the small group I'm a part of, and man, they got me going, and just like a kid on candy, brother. Like it's just got so addicted to it, and the biggest thing behind it is like the friendships that I've gained out of it. And so like with the milsims that I've traveled, right, and everything too, have been ideal. So yeah, so here we go. This is at Copperhead, I think 20. I was thinner here. I'm trying to remember my waist size and everything too. I got a little more chunks around me. But so I'm on from the viewer standpoint, right? I'm always to the far left. I'm running sniper at this event. It's a desert, so I just figured I'd run like a Viper hood just to help conceal my silhouette a little bit when I need to. But if it gets hot or whatever, I can always lower that hood and do it. And then directly to the right, so right after me is Adam, right, or Sightless as we go by, and then my best friend TJ is in the center there, or Boondocks. There you go. And then that's the leader right after that. That's Clem. Clem's my boy. And then his sister Jill. Jill's always dope. Clem's name Dax, right? And then Jill's name is Banch. Like that's the call signs there. I got the lucky call sign of princess. That's
Princess.
yeah. So like one of the first milsims I went with them. Um, was actually out here in Colorado. It was one of the Titan milsims, which was a milsim company out here, who ran by a gentleman named Ross. Shout out Ross. Shout out Titan. So I was out there. We were at one of the Boy Scout camps down south. I think it's either. I always get confused. I can't remember if it was Jackal or Anvil was the name of that milsim that was at the location, but it was at that one down south in the Springs. And so we show up, and I was like, oh hey, I'll bring my tent. I got a big tent. I'll set that up. It'll be great for everybody. I didn't, since it wasn't a 40-hour nonstop. We were gonna, at the end of the day of the first day of milsim, it's index. You go, you camp, you hang out with your friends. So I'm like, dude, like since we don't have to ruck anything for this milsim, have to have a ruck pack, dude. Like I'm sitting comfortable. I don't care. So I brought a blow up air mattress. So I have this giant tent that sits like it's fit like 4 to 5 queen size air mattresses all in there together. So it's relatively large. And then I put my mattress inside there, blow it up and everything. Clem and Jill drive all the way, and Adam, sightless, right? They all drive from Arizona all the way up here. And they get there, and they're like, who in the hell brought this big old tent? It's like a damn castle. And then they go inside, like, and then who brought the blow up mattress? Who's this person? Who the hell is a princess out here? And I was like, oh, that was me. I brought all that stuff. And they're like, all right, princess. And so I was like, all right, calm down. And then they're like, that's your call sign. Your call sign. That's what we're gonna call you now from princess. And I was like, oh no, oh gosh. And then it's stuck ever since then. So it's because I like to live comfortably when I rock. Because even though the 40-hour nonstop milsims, man, like I always like to try to run comfortable, right? Get some good ruck stuff. You get whoobies and everything too. But my brother, man, like I need air mattresses or something like that. So like, the 40 hours, like I'd use like a little blow up one at least for the hard grounds and stuff. But like if I can live comfortably, like, I'll do it. Right. You just got to be able to ruck it and everything too. But yeah, so for me, like, been great friends with Jill, Clem and Adam. And of course, TJ have been friends forever too together. And then this was our original group, ODZ, right? Operational Detachment Zulu, right? That's our little goofy thing, right? Because when we generally try to do the 40 hours, we'll run RUS-4, Russian Forces. And so everything we do is always green, stuff like that. But so for this one here, or like any of the ones we've grown considerably as a group, right? We now have, so what, that's 5 of us there at the start. And then now we have Austin. We have Austin's dad, Greg. We now have Alec, Wes, who's the main ones, and then my brother, who I got into to fly out. He flies all the way from Virginia to play. That's 10 of us. So we've got like a hardcore 10 right now, which has been really fun to enjoy. But like the friendships that I've gotten to meet and grow, because Alec and Wes are some of the closest friends I've got right now, man. And we do a lot of things together, a lot of milsims, and do D&D and everything together, because I'm an additional nerd outside of Airsoft. I like to play with little figurines on a square board, and I like to DM that stuff. But it continues to grow. And Wes I met working at Fox, chatting with him up, and he met Alec, and so the 3 of us and got together because of that. It's fantastic. And then just outside of my group, the people I've met too, like you, but also like Spaz. I mean, I can go on a list of names. Fred's, right? The Franks that I've met. The Matt Krugers that I've met, right? The Jasons that I've met, like just so many people that I've met and chat with and continue to chat with. Darians of Seabacks and all that stuff. You got Chad, you've got, I feel like if I don't mention somebody, they're going to be upset. Right? Chad Kikoa, Nate, Old Snake, like, just so many people out there that I can't even, it would be like another podcast. You have to do part 2 of me just naming people that I remember their names, RJ, everything too. Like, man, just really good people. And people that I would be more than happy to play with and everything too. And so that's kind of what inspired me to start this company, that with the event that you went to. We do a lot of milsims, but mainly a lot of like American milsim. And so because the American Milsim, I think, is easier for newer people to jump in, and so I'm constantly trying to get people to come play airsoft for the first time with me and everything too. And so it's harder to get that into Milsim West because it's just so expensive with good gear. It's expensive. And I'm talking ruck gear, not even airsoft. You can go to Milsim West with a terrible gun and have a good time, but you're rucking because you're sleeping 40 hours nonstop. And if you go to one without a building, God forbid, you don't have a good ruck stuff. But so like for us, like we normally do American Milsim, AMS, and those other ones too. And we just, we always felt like the product could be better. And not saying AMS is bad or anything too like that, but just overall, right? It's like when you taste or eat something, you're like, man, like I feel like this can be done better. And so, American Milsim was saying that they weren't going to come back to Colorado this year. Milsim West may come back this year. We're still waiting on Josh to mention it. And so I just felt like with an event and the experiences that I've had, I felt like there's so many small things that matter that could be so much better and something that we can provide. And so I just want people to play airsoft. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do, to build those friendships, to build that community. I feel like we spend so much time building friends and communities online that we forget how important it is to meet them physically and have that connection eye to eye, even if it's sharing plastic BB ammo together because you ran out of ammo, so you need another EPM1 tossed your way. But it's just something about where you drive 12 hours to a desert training facility in New Mexico or all the way out to California or just an hour away from home. But it's so much fun when you can get into a vehicle with some friends and just be the biggest goobers, be just goofy people who forget about the troubles in the world, and then you get to go play fake army man for a whole weekend. You can be that cool Call of Duty LARP operator you've always wanted to be, and then you get a camp with them, whether it's the 40 hours or the breaks in between. You still set up a camp and you're chatting and you're just having a good time. Like the friendships you do like that can last a lifetime. And the people that I've met, through Fox have been absolutely incredible. And so I wanted to provide a product to help out with that. I wanted to provide a product local here in Colorado because I know the airsoft community has grown so much in Colorado. And Colorado, the way that it is, it's so close to being one of the top airsoft places to be, like just to go. Really, the top 3 locations, right, is going to be California, right? They have the most. Then Texas, right, the second most. And then you got Ballahack all the way in Virginia, right? It was like a destination stop. And there's other great fields, right? But the problem is you just don't know about them, right? Like named fields, right? Gosh, what is it? Red Alert or whatever out in Cali or something like that. But but as a whole, Colorado is right there in the center. We've had a lot of people move here. So it's prime pickings for a really good airsoft community and experience. The sport could substantially thrive here to where we should have, half a dozen fields that are worth playing at. We got, again, Fox and Go Airheads. You have Dynamic once a month. And then, of course, you have APC that does some smaller CQBs, but they mainly focus on paintball. And same thing with Dynamic, right? It's just a one day. Like, dedicated airsoft stuff is only 2 fields, man. And it's just a bummer that a state where so many players are here and there's so many potentials that you just need to provide them for it. And so we're trying to do that with P3, right? We're putting on our 2-day with a break in the middle, Milsim here at the end of next month, the end of June, right? And so tickets are already sell for that. Get your tickets. Go to pewpewproductions.com. Tickets are cheaper right now. Shout out. Shout out P3. And so I wanted to do that, but it's tough to do on your own. And luckily, again, through Airsoft, I met some fantastic people, specifically Matt and Jason and John, just really good guys who just passionate for Airsoft and passionate about the friends and a good product and been in that same boat to where we're like, dang, man, like this was fun, but the but is always so annoying. And the hard part is, though, with Airsoft in general, is always that but, right? There's a lot of old timers from Colorado. I like to call them old timers, and not by the age, by their attitudes. I like to call them old timers in Airsoft. And the reason why I call them that and what I mean behind that is that there's so many people who sit there and they'll complain about Fox. I get it. It's fine. Fox isn't your cup of tea, or you think it could be better, and I get that. They'll complain about go aheads. I get that. They'll complain about dynamic. I get that. I get all those things, but all I ever always hear is complaints, but never an action out of it. All they ever do is complain about something or say back in the day this, or it should be like this, but the problem is they never do anything about it. No one does anything about it. And when somebody does something about it, they may struggle. They may not have the proper structure around it, and they'll try to do it and they'll fail. Two things on their own merit, or as well as the community that they try to build. And so, what I wanted to do when I started this company, I specifically selected Matt, Jason, and John to help me run this company and become one with us, because the drive behind Matt's so meticulous on things he wants to be done, which he's way better at than me. And then Jason with just the ideas and the capabilities of understanding how to engineer the products of like props and things like that, and technical prowess that he has to be able to design things is incredible. And then John's capabilities of just being able to connect with the players, but also think about like really important things that we're missing, and more importantly, just coming up with really great, fresh ideas, and just being a nice, calm presence that he is, and just a blast to be around, and always make sure that players are having a good time, and being communicative with the players. Like those guys are the ones I wanted to start this with. And so, we're jumping in, right? And in order to help fund this, we also figured we would do more than just a milsim. We wanted to work with a local field. So we did the Operation Freedom, right, at Dynamic that you played at. A month and a half before that, we did something at Fox, right, where I work at. And then we have another thing coming up this month here in a couple of weeks, right, at Go Airhead. So, next Saturday, 24th, get your tickets, Extraction. Gonna be a good time. Those single day events are fun because it breaks up your everyday nonchalant gameplay. But you can do all this stuff and you can put all this effort forward, but you always get those old timers who all they ever do, they'll never post anything. They will never be a part of the Airsoft community. They never try to build anything. They never try to get new players in. They never try to do stuff. And when somebody does it, they always complain about it. Oh, it should be like this, or it should have been like that. And it's kind of a bummer, but that's why I just call them old timers, because sooner or later they'll die out and they'll be nothing but legends or whispers of the wind. By whispers of the wind, they'll comment randomly on a Facebook post. But like dudes, like, we're companies that try to build stuff, there's nothing wrong with stating an opinion of how it could be better. But in the process, you need to do better to yourself, and try to create that better product yourself. If you see like something's missing, if you don't like how something's ran, okay, you do it then. Right? Like you do it. You do it then. You do it. Oh, you're not going to? Well then, how about constructively trying to give experience and then give good constructive feedback? How about attend an event? How about instead of reading something about one event, like a day event, and then compare that to what a larger 2-day milsim event would be that we're hosting, and not want to buy tickets to it, and then like, stick your thumb out, flick your nose at us, and then like not go. Like, and then again, we'll never hear from you again for a while, and then you'll pop up again randomly just to complain about it and gripe about it. Grr, my lawn, grr, Airsoft 15 years ago. That's how you Airsoft. That's how you milsim. It's such a bummer. And again, like, I have no problem with feedback, but I like constructive feedback. What irritates me more than anything is pointless complaining. That irritates me so much. And more importantly, from somebody who does, from individuals who do nothing to help out the Airsoft community. They're never at the Airsoft fields playing, right? Because, and again, if those Airsoft fields go and they're not doing anything, the sport's gone, right? The sport's gone, right? It just dies and just becomes woods ball, and you buy from Evike, and that's it. And you get a gun, and you might go to one of these cool milsims out of state, because now you have to travel, or you can go to the property of your friend's house and play with 6 friends, or whatever. But like, it's funny like that. And so, I was tired of like how some milsim companies were running and things like that too. And I felt that they could be ran better. And instead of complaining about it, I decided to do something about it. And I decided to find three other people, like-minded people who are willing to put effort and time out. And right now, man, they are kicking my butt. They're doing way more work than I am, and it's irritating me. But the big 2-day milsim's my baby, so that's coming up a little bit more stressful. But man, dude, nothing's more fun than being surrounded by people who are truly passionate about it, who have constructive criticisms, and then more importantly, with that constructive criticism, they are going to do something about it. So
Oh, absolutely.
that's for me.
Yeah. Yeah, totally on board. And it's interesting too because like what you guys did at Dynamic, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, especially with someone that's been on it's my first milsim, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys kind of lean into it. It's not like a hardcore type of thing that I mentioned earlier in the
yeah,
podcast episode. So I'm glad you did that approach because it made it easier, especially with
yeah,
someone like me that's getting into it, and just how you guys rolled with it. And if I recall, I think you guys had adapted on a few things on the fly. I remember. I'm trying to remember what it was. There was a few things. There was one where someone came out and asked us, "Are you guys ready for the next game, or would you like guys like a further break?" And a few of us said, "Well, just a few the break, so we have a longer break." And then they're like, "Oh, no, no, not a problem. We'll do that. We'll do that." And
yeah,
just by having that flexibility, that was kind of cool to see, right?
yeah.
And actually getting feedback from the actual players that's at the event.
Well, and the players that actually spend the money that actually go out to the events are the ones that are worth hearing, right? Um, it's like, well, what's that old phrase, right? Like you can hear stuff, but never take criticism from somebody that you wouldn't like trust or whatever. I'm probably butchering the parable or whatever they would say behind it, but generally it's like the idea is like never take criticism from somebody who really like that you don't respect, right? And anytime somebody pays money to come to my event, man, like I 100% respect you because I understand, especially right now in this economy, right? We got to say that's a common phrase. This economy, money's tight for everybody right now. Money's tight, right? And so, you know, like that one at a dynamic that you went to, like tickets were like 65 bucks, right, for a day. And so like $65, that's a lot, right? Average, I mean, I don't know what minimum wage is now, right, but I think average pay is like roughly 18 an hour, so probably the rough median, fairly to save the players, is roughly about 20-ish dollars is probably the rough median of the players who went there. And so, brother, that's that's a little over 3 hours of someone's day to work it, right? And then they're coming to your field, and and then they give you the 3 hours of time of labor they did to play your game, and then they're giving you another additional 7 to 8 hours or more, depending on the event, of their life there too, and that's important. And so for me, like I view every single one of those players, who have supported, who supported P3 and done that for us, man. I'm 100% in your debt, man. We're grateful for you. But we're doing this for you guys, right? But the biggest thing is to create this product that's awesome for you guys. And when you got to learn to take the good feedback from the bad, and more importantly, like outside noise from outside boomers, old timers who play airsoft are so pointless. They're dead in the sport, and they're not worth chasing anyways, because they'll probably won't even go to your event. Even if they say they were going to go, they probably weren't going to go. And then the second thing is they don't do anything to help out new players, to welcome new players, or to even just be around other consistent players and enjoy their company. So, hopefully, with P3, we continue to grow that. Our goal is to consistently listen to your players, adapt, and build it. And we understand, hopefully players understand, it won't ever always be like 100% perfect. It won't ever be, perfect the whole way through, right? It's impossible to be that way, but we can be damn near perfect. And that's the goal, is always to put out the best product we can. Um, and, uh, and that's what I'm excited for this company to do. And that's what I'm excited to do with Fox, as well as the players. I want to do tailor to the hardcore players, but as well as the casual players, and to kind of figure out how to tailor to every one of those age groups and dynamic groups that they are, to build that. But all it comes down to is like airsoft is such a cool social sport. It needs to remain that way, and focusing on the right people and the right community can really make or break your overall product, and could grow that sport. So Colorado, like I said, could be one of the top destinations for airsoft. It can be that way. Hopefully, 10 years from now, there's 6 fields. Hopefully, I'll be running multiple of them. But if not, right, hopefully there's just multiple fields popping up and inspired to and passionate to do it. Those who have land, do it now. If you got a good spot, man, jump in on this sport if you're passionate about it. Stop being the old timers of the airsoft. Be the new guy in it, man. Build those communities, build those relationships, man, and build that sport. And you can have such an incredible product that, when or if you go or when it goes, at the end of it, when you ride off in the sunset from it, you can be like, damn, dude, like that was a good time. And you can have some good stories, man. I got a son. He's 4, so got a little time before he can play. But by golly, man, and the one that I'm got a workout and diet plan going on here, man, because I got to make sure I'm in shape and fit for that kid 10 years down the road. Because, dude, I can't wait for whether it's my company or somebody else's companies to go out and play some fake Army man with my boy. And in order for that to happen and more frequently, man, like airsoft's got to be bigger in Colorado, and that's what I'm hoping happens. I hope one day my desires or my company or my plant shuts down because everything else is way better than I can produce, and it's larger, and I can let that go happy and go and enjoy the community that's been built. But in the meantime, someone's got to step up for it, and we got Josh over at Go Airheads. We got Matt from Division, Jason from Division, who are running Dynamic once a month. I always forget who are the owners of ABC, but shout out to them anyways because they still do it. And of course, you got Matt who owns Fox, who have that. I know their fields, everybody's fields can be better. I mean, there's always complaints about every field, which is fine. They can always strive to be better, but guys, man, you got to go out and support them as best you can too. If you do nothing, sit back and don't say anything, and definitely don't help pay with your dollar bill. It'll go. Feel like I'm just rambling now.
No, it's very informative. And matter of fact, to give you some credit, I really love what you guys did over at Dynamic.
Thanks.
I'm gonna try to definitely see if I can go Airheads as well,
Yeah,
and hopefully see you out there, and then
I'll be there.
just have fun and hang out with the community, and hopefully get some good video shots. Maybe a little bit less butt shooting, but we'll see.
It'll be dope, and hopefully you'll come out to that 2-day milsim we're doing. Right, it's like structured to have a break. Right, we got camping spots out there. It'll be a good time, and that will be a lot more of a like a little bit more of a hardcore milsim, right? As hardcore as a 2-day with a break can be, right? It won't be like the 40-hour milsim West ones. This will be a little bit more of a military style, right? But it'll still be good for new players who haven't played before. This is my favorite formula for getting those new players in, because I feel like when they play a milsim, it's like crack, baby. Like you're gonna need it. You're gonna need your milsim fix. And I look forward to hopefully continue to provide that product here in Colorado, while we still wait for the milsim companies to continue to hopefully come back. And then soon, maybe one day, like I said, there's probably 3 to 4 milsims in Colorado, and you'll never need to travel out of the state to enjoy.
Everything will be local, which would be great for
That'll
me
be
because
dope,
then I don't have to
man.
go very far.
As much fun as the 12-hour trips are, or I think Cali was like 18 all the way back to Revolt. It was like, I think it was like 18. As much fun as those can be. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm getting at that age where that long in a car is exhausting.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm in the same area, so the same age group. So yeah,
Yeah, I
I
know,
could
right?
definitely
Yeah,
relate to that.
dude. I used to be able
Yeah.
to drive 12 hours, no sleep, and 6 cans of Red Bull. But now, man, too much caffeine, I get jittery, and and even with all that caffeine, I'll still find a way to fall asleep.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, all right, well, awesome. It was a privilege having you on, and especially with all the information that we were discussing, it was pretty cool. A lot of it was pretty informative. Actually, it was very spiked up when some of the conversations we've been having. So,
Yeah,
thanks for coming on. And matter of
yeah,
fact,
of
if it's
course.
okay with you, I mean, we could definitely schedule a second time on in the
I'd be
future,
happy
and
to. Yeah,
invite you back on and go from there.
yeah,
And hopefully by then you'll have everything will be moved out of the Fox store, and then
yeah.
you'll have a little bit more to tell about what's going on at the field and some upcoming changes.
Definitely.
So
I mean, the honor is all on my side, man. Like, I really appreciate you. I appreciate you viewers and everything too, man. Like, and your community, man. Like you guys are the lifeblood, right? You guys are the ones that are really behind why airsoft is so amazing, and the reason why it exists is you guys. So like, no worries, man. Like it's anything I can do to better serve you and the community, man. You just let me know. Let you know, and everybody too. I'm not just talking to N5 here. I'm talking to all you guys. Like, just reach out, man. Always happy to chat, man. If you got a broken gun too, I can tell you what's wrong. You know.
Well, that's certainly true. Because I came by your shop recently about that too.
Yeah, but your gun's working
So
now magically.
it is magically, yeah. It's kind of fascinating because I mean, no joke. I mean, it was
Yeah.
literally misfiring and continuous. Well, I shouldn't say continuously, but it was firing like every other
Yeah.
pattern or whatnot. But
Yeah.
then when I came out of the shop, everything was fine, and then when I got home, everything was fine. I was like, what? It's like what? I mean, it's just like because I tried like different magazines, different brands.
Yeah.
It was doing the same thing, all of
Uh-huh.
them. But then as soon as I went over to your shop and you looked at it, you're like, there's nothing wrong with it. And then when I got home, I was like, I can't duplicate it now. So what? So anyway, maybe it was a good juju. I don't know. So
Maybe something. Maybe something.
yeah, but I appreciate you looking at it, and
Of course.
and it was informative as well, and that's what's so cool is people like you being out there, right, and being able to bounce off feedback and potential improvements and stuff like that. So
Oh,
much
100%.
much appreciation. So
Of
as much
course.
as you're giving appreciation to me and some of my audience, I mean it's the same thing both ways. So
Yeah.
everything you're doing, I mean it's having an effect, a positive effect.
Good.
And I would strongly encourage to keep at it, and especially with the upcoming with Go Airheads. I mean,
Yeah.
just the fact that you're doing that is it's really, how should I say, it's really cool, really awesome, and I look forward to future endeavors that you may present.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks. Hopefully it'll go forever, and I can die and it'll still go. You know, that's the plan. You know.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. Well, thanks again for being on, and
Of
and
course.
God bless,
You too,
and
bud.
we'll talk soon.
Hell yeah, bud.